Welcome to the concept of depreciation. Depreciation practically means the decrease of value of any kind of asset with increase of time. This is the general conception. Depreciation is basically charged on any kind of fixed asset. Depreciation is also known as expense item but which cannot be shown physically. That is why depreciation is also called a non-cash expense. Coming back to the fixed asset are those which are of material value. Generally, we do not sell it very quickly, has a longer lifetime, and basically are used for more period in that particular business. If we generally take into consideration other than land, all particular fixed asset has a limited useful lifetime. Now, if a fixed asset has been put into use by the organization, the part of that asset's value which is lost with increase of time and which cannot be generally recovered is known as depreciation. Basically, every single country has a certain kind of guideline to calculate depreciation. This is called GAAP in our country, which is the short form of generally accepted accounting principle. This is practically what we mean by depreciation. Ending this particular thing, we can say that a famous financialist, J.N. Carter, said practically depreciation is the gradual and the permanent decrease in the value of an asset from any cause. This is the basic concept of depreciation. Now, the factors that are required to be understood while calculating depreciation are practically the initial value of the asset, the salvage value of the asset, the useful life of the asset, and most importantly, the book value or the remaining book value of the asset. Initial value of the asset is practically the first value in which the organization buys that particular asset at the beginning of the period. The cost of the asset generally includes all kind of reasonable expenses which are incurred to bring an asset into workable condition. The main test whether an expense is to be included towards cost price or not is that whether the expenditure was reasonable and necessary to make the asset in a workable condition, like the charges of installation of a particular machine. That is very much important to make the machine work. So that will be considered into the initial value of the asset. If that particular cost incurred is an expense which is important for the asset to be in a workable condition, that will become a part of cost. Furthermore, if the firm or the organization constructs its own asset, the amount of cost will include all kind of expenses incurred on its construction. This is practically what we mean by initial value of the asset. Coming back to the salvage value of the asset, basically it means the amount which can be recovered by selling off the asset after a certain amount of year. In many cases, where this particular amount, that is the salvage value, is insignificant or is not taken into much account, it is ignored altogether. But when this amount is quite substantial, the depreciation is calculated on the net cost of the asset, that is the original cost minus the salvage value. This becomes the actual value of the asset then. Coming back to the useful life of the asset, here the useful life basically means how many years or how much time period is the asset generally serving the organization. This determination of the useful life of the asset is of much importance because it is that particular lifetime over which the whole cost of the asset is to be written off by the method of depreciation. The useful life is estimated either from depreciation rates published by national income tax authorities or from opinions of basically the engineers or the persons who have the experience of working with that particular asset. However, the amount of wear and tear, taking into consideration the concept of obsolescence and the maintenance, are the main factor which are taken into consideration while talking about useful life of the asset. Coming back to the last factor, it is book value of the asset. Suppose salvage value is that particular item which the organization gets back after a certain point of time. But what if the organization wants to sell off the asset at the middle period of that? Here comes in the concept of book value. Each year depreciation can be calculated through different kind of methods, and each year from the actual value of the asset, if that depreciation value is deducted, the remaining value becomes the book value of the asset. Book value of the asset basically provides a necessary guideline for the organization to sell off the asset at which rate. The rate which the book value of the asset is indicating towards for that particular year, the organization generally tries to sell off somewhere nearby from that particular value. So these are the factors which needs to be taken into consideration while calculating depreciation. Coming back to the methods of depreciation, the first method is practically the straight line method of depreciation. It is very easy and widely used throughout many organizations. The basic formula of straight line method of depreciation is the annual depreciation is generally calculated by taking into account the difference of initial value minus the salvage value of the asset and dividing that particular value with the number of years that the organization has used the asset. In this particular method, also we need to keep into account that the role of rate of interest and expenses which are incurred by the organization in cases of maintenance of the asset are generally ignored. It is also assumed that the amount of depreciation will be uniform throughout the years of that particular asset. Both Indian GAAP and international GAAP the definition in those two aspect, in those two organization, in those two methods, the definition of depreciation is basically based on these three very things. And moreover, as I have talked about the book value of the asset, here the assumption is that the book value of the asset can be or cannot be an indication towards the market value if the organization puts up the asset in sale during that middle period of the usage. Let us take an example of the straight line method. The straight line method, here it has been said the initial cost of the machine is rupees 2,50,000. The estimated value at the end of the 8 years is 24,000. So basically here we come to know the useful life of that particular asset is 8 years. So we need to find out the per annum depreciation. So if we calculate the per annum depreciation will nothing but be 2,50,000 minus that 24,000 divided by the number of years. That gives us the value per year at 28,250. Coming back to the remaining book value after 4 years, if we try to find out the remaining book value also, the depreciation value for that asset during that 4 years time period, the total depreciation of 4 years comes back to 28,250 multiplied by the 4 years, which is coming at 1,13,000. So the remaining book value of the asset after 4 years becomes 2,50,000, which was the initial cost of the machine, minus 1,13,000, which is the total depreciation of that particular asset after 4 years. The remaining book value after 4 years of the machine becomes 1,37,000. This 1,37,000 provides the organization with the required guideline that how much the organization should quote when they should be putting up that particular asset for sale during that period of 8 years. The basic difference between a written down value method or a reducing value method to a straight line method is that the assumption on which the depreciation is calculated is that in straight line method it is assumed that throughout the years the depreciation will be same. But here in reducing value method or written down value method, the assumption is that every year after the wear and tear of that particular asset taking into consideration, the depreciation value of that particular asset will generally increase with time, or in other words, the value of the asset generally decreases with time. Another very important difference between a reducing value method and a straight line method is that here a certain rate of depreciation has been given to us. We need to depreciate that particular asset based on the given depreciation rate only. The basic formula of using the reducing value method is that we calculate per year depreciation by the initial book value at the starting of that particular year into the depreciation rate which has been given to us. If we take an example from the reducing value method, the question here starts off with a machine which has been purchased by the organization of rupees 5 lakhs. The organization had paid certain excise duty of 16% and the installation cost was another 20,000. The life of the asset, the useful life of the asset is 10 years and the salvage value of the asset is 2 lakhs. The rate of depreciation is at 10%. So we need to find out the per year depreciation under reducing value method. Now, as I have earlier talked about the cost that needs to be incurred in the initial value, here you see the organization has initially paid a cost of 5 lakh, but it has also paid excise duty as well as installation cost. While calculating this, we will consider that whether this cost needs to be taken into account while calculating the initial cost or not. Coming back to the solution of reducing value method or written down value method, we had talked about which cost needs to be incurred in that initial cost. Now see, as I have earlier said, any cost that is incurred by the organization to make that particular machine or the asset work should be incurred into the total cost or total initial cost of the machine. So excise duty as well as installation cost of that particular machine are indispensable cost for that particular organization in order to make the machine in a workable condition. So if we take the initial cost of the machine to be inclusive of all this, the initial cost of the machine increases from 5 lakh, taking into account the excise duty at a 16% of the initial cost and the installation cost of 2 lakh. That now the total initial cost of the machine comes back to 6 lakh. Now, how to calculate the per year depreciation under written down value method? Here, in the first year or at the beginning of the first year, we see that the initial cost is at 6 lakh rupees. If the cost of depreciation has been given, or the rate of depreciation is given at 10%, then during that particular first year, on the initial cost of 6 lakh, the depreciation value is obtained at 60,000. Deducting that depreciation value from the initial cost, we get the remaining book value of the asset at 5 lakh 40,000. Now, similarly, if we consider this continuation, the second year starting becomes the first year ending cost. So if it is first year ending cost, that is 5 lakh 40,000. So on that 5 lakh 40,000, again the depreciation rate of 10% will be put into consideration, which gives us the figure of 54,000, where the remaining value of the asset moves back to 4 lakh 86,000. Similarly, if I have shown the calculation of that particular remaining book value up to 5 years, you can go up to 10 years to find out that what is the remaining book value of the asset up to 10 years. If that figure matches with the salvage value, that is of 2 lakhs, then the organization can sell it off at 2 lakhs, which is near around same of the book value remaining of the asset and the salvage value. If the salvage value is practically higher than the remaining book value after 10 years, the organization is basically making a profit by selling off that. And if it is lower than 2 lakhs, then if it is higher than 2 lakhs, then the organization is practically making a loss on that asset. Again, here lies the importance of remaining book value of the asset, as it gives us the guideline. It provides the organization with the guideline of whether to sell the asset off during that period of time or at the end of the tenure. Under the sum of years method of depreciation, this particular method tries to bypass both the method of straight line and written down value method. Under this particular method, the depreciation rate accelerates more than the straight line method but less than the declining balance method. or the reducing value method. In this particular case, the annual depreciation is practically separated into fractions using the number of years of the useful life of that particular asset. How to calculate that? If we consider using this particular formula, if the asset has an useful lifetime of 5 years, then the total sum of years value of that asset becomes 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which turns out to be 15. So basically, if we consider the first year depreciation under that particular method of sum of years, we consider the number of years remaining at the beginning of first year is practically 5 years. So the ratio that we generally get is 5 by 15 into the book value of the asset should give us the first year depreciation under sum of years method. Similarly, for second year, the ratio should be number of years remaining should be 4, that should be 4 by 15, and simultaneously for third, fourth and fifth year it should be 3 by 15, 2 by 15 and 1 by 15. So this is how we generally calculate the annual depreciation under sum of years method. Coming back to the example of sum of years method, here the machine has been purchased by the organization at rupees 10 lakh. If we consider the useful life of the asset to be 5 years and the salvage value to be negligible or not present at 0, we find out per year depreciation as mentioned earlier by multiplying that particular initial value of the asset, which is 10 lakh, into 5 by 15. Again repeating, 15 has been achieved by adding up all the 5 years value, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which gives us 15. And why 5 at the beginning of the first year? That means the remaining life of that particular asset at the beginning of the first year is 5. Simultaneously for 2, 3, 4 and 5 it subsequently changes to 4, 3, 2 and 1. So basically we get that particular depreciation of the first year to be 3,33,333. Simultaneously we get the value of second year depreciation to be 2,66,666. And if you can calculate the simultaneous values of third, fourth and fifth year and then add it up to that particular depreciation value of each year, you will definitely find out one particular interesting fact, that the total of those 5 years depreciation will be equal to the initial value of the machine. Here the concept of sum of years method generally takes into account that particular asset on which the depreciation is calculated, that will move back to 0 after a certain point of time. Under the unit of production method of depreciation, this method is entirely different from whatever methods we have discussed about up to this point of time. Here depreciation is allotted to every single unit of product which has been produced by the organization. If we clearly mention it out here the important factor of calculating depreciation is not the useful life of the asset, but basically the productivity of the asset is taken into consideration much more. This method of depreciation is practically very much applicable for the assembly line production units. Under this method, per unit depreciation is generally calculated by deducting the salvage value of the asset from the initial value of the asset and then dividing that entire value with the estimated units that can be or will be produced during the entire lifetime of the machine. Taking an example of the unit of production method of depreciation, we see a machine was purchased by the organization at rupees 10 lakhs. The estimated units which the organization could produce during the entire lifetime of the machine is 20 lakh pieces. The salvage value of the machine was calculated at 1 lakh. During 1 year, the production was generally 80,000 pieces. We need to find out the depreciation of that particular year in which the production was 80,000 pieces. So, initially, if we try to calculate the per unit depreciation of that machine, we get 10 lakh, which is the initial value, minus the salvage value of the machine, which is calculated at 1 lakh. If we divide that with the number of items that can be produced by the machine, which is at 20 lakhs, the per unit depreciation is coming at 0.45 rupees. Depreciation for that particular year, which was in which the organization produced 80,000 pieces, then the depreciation for that particular year becomes 80,000 into per unit depreciation of 0.45, which turns out to be 36,000. So in this way, every year, if the production units are given to us, we can easily calculate the depreciation for that machine over the years.